Good afternoon. It's good to have you. I hope you can hear me out here as well. We're honored today, and it's it's a very special day in Aaron's company when our manufacturing and engineering teams get all dressed up to come to work. Right? I mean, you guys look really good, and guys and ladies and men. A couple of opening comments. First, I want to welcome and acknowledge all of our officials that are here with us. We have some very special guests, and City Council here of Brillion. Congressman Petri changed his schedule to be here with us. Thank you very much, Congressman Petri. State Senator Frank Lassay, appreciate your being here, Frank. Joe Liebman from the State Senate, and Al Ott, our representative here in Wisconsin. Lori Gauze is representing the City of Brillion. And Mayor Jim Schmidt, thank you very much for coming down from Green Bay, Jim. Appreciate that. From the City Council of Brillion, we have Betty Neese. Our friend Mel Ettinger is here with us today. Mel, somewhere. Thank you, Mel. Mel just retired from us after a great career. Still have a couple of days? No. Done? Done. So I want to thank you all for being here. If I missed anyone, I apologize. Raise your hand and tell me who's here if I've missed any of you that we've helped get into office. When the governor campaigned as a business leader, I heard two things. I heard two messages from him. He promised to rein in the growing influence of state government and the cost and the size of that state government. And he promised to create a climate here in Wisconsin that allowed private enterprise to take risk, which he knew would lead to job growth. Today here at Ariens, and I represent the 2,000 employees from around the world, I hope we're one example of what can happen in Wisconsin when we follow those initiatives. The investment here at Ariens is really one in our future. It's built on a heritage we have, 78 years here, fourth generation. One of those symbols for us is the new gear that's out in the north side of our plant. That's a 15-foot tall gear. It's facing north, true north, we like to say strategically. But it symbolizes here our headquarters in Brillion, Wisconsin. This is an all-steel symbol designed by our Wisconsin architects, Performa. It's built here in Wisconsin by skilled craftsmen in Fond du Lac. And our engineers and on-site company, Myron, built this new 26,000 square foot facility. One of the things that's interesting about this gear is it's made of a special steel. It's called Core 10 steel. This steel will actually rust. Over time it will patina. But as that rust becomes apparent on the steel, it actually protects this steel over a lifetime. So this gear is going to be with us, 15 feet of it, Governor, for a long time. It's a nice symbol because the Ariens Company has gone through the same economic weathering. We compete globally on a cost basis with smaller or more nimble or lower cost countries around the world. But we work very hard here, and this gear is a great milestone of what we think will be our next 78-year journey as we go into the future. I'm very proud to be standing here in front of you and represent the Ariens family. I represent a family of owners here in this company, and I think this is probably the beginning of what I'd like to call the next chapter in our business. But I want to remember and recall that it's first and foremost, it starts with the passionate people we call of Ariens Company. Our vision statement, passionate people, is to astound our customers, and without astounding our customers, our future is always going to be in jeopardy, and our job, one, is to take care of our customers first and foremost. Our special guest today has the qualities we all hope for in our elected officials. First and foremost, he's a leader. And he has a vision of how government should work, how government can be a catalyst for opportunity, for intellectual curiosity. In the spirit of entrepreneurship, he believes that the role of private investment and private enterprise is best motivated by an entrepreneur who sees opportunity, takes risk to invest capital, and the result builds an economic engine for future growth. Government can't create jobs, that's my quote, but I know that government can make two choices. They can be a job stimulator through private investment, or they can choose to be a job regulator through intervention or oversight. This governor, our governor of Wisconsin, is a job enhancer, a job stimulator, a promoter of jobs in Wisconsin, and probably the best salesman we have for the state of Wisconsin today. Governor, thank you very much for that leadership. We really appreciate it. Would you all give a warm welcome to Governor Scott Walker? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you, all of you, for being here, and as Dan alluded to, a number of distinguished guests here. You're really all, in a way, distinguished guests, because you wouldn't be here if you weren't a part of this great story about this expanding story that started in 1933. But first, I want to thank Dan, not just for the introduction, and not just for your leadership here at Ariens, but as so many of you, probably all of you know, about his leadership not only in the company, but across the state. And I often think, and Jim Schmidt will get a kick out of this, I think in a way, I was going to say you have the Midas touch, but that would mean you just, everything you touch turned to gold. Being related to the Packers, it must be green and gold. But that kind of success that the Packers have had in so many other areas, we appreciate that leadership, and I particularly appreciate your willingness to step up and help us. One of the things we've done since the beginning of this year is to replace the former Department of Commerce, which was an entity about both promoting commerce but also about regulating it, and instead replace it with a new venture, a public-private venture. It's called the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation. And on our board, I'm proud to chair that board, but our vice chair is none other than your leader, Dan Ariens. And we appreciate that leadership, as well as in so many other areas throughout the community and around the state. So thank you very much for your leadership. Now, I am exceptionally excited today to be here for a couple different reasons. One, when you think about our state's history, since 1848, we've been a state here in Wisconsin, and throughout that time, manufacturing has been our leading industry. It's what survived us for more than 132 years, and it's what, without a doubt, will help us grow and come out and lead the nation out of this recession. Now, over the last few years, some folks have talked about manufacturing as though it's something of the past. It is not. The difference here is in what we've got here with not just an expansion, but with a renewed focus in research and development, is seeing that in companies like Ariens, where you've got a multi-generational family, a business that's been around since 1933, the success of that has been not just staying stagnant, but growing and reinvesting, and investing not only in capital, but in people. And having new advancements in research and development will help us lead the way, not only for this company, not only for Billion, not only for this region, but really for the state as we compete in a global marketplace. I have no doubt, and the good news is you're not alone. There are other companies like this all across the state who are making strategic investments in their capital, in their infrastructure, and ultimately in their people that allow us to bring jobs back from places like China and India and Mexico and others across the globe, because what we found is as the cost of doing business there has risen, we have found ways to invest in automation and innovation and new technology that allows us to be competitive with anyone across the world. Your commitment in the last 3 years, what has it been, about $20 million worth of commitment to infrastructure to this company, says a lot, not just about the building and what we're going to be cutting a ribbon on, but really what we see here, the people. Because you can't make something work just by building more space. You've got to have an investment and a commitment to the people that make a business work. The reason why you've had some 28% increase in sales, the reason why there's about 3.2% as I recall in the statistics, average increase each month in employment at this company, the reason why you've added hundreds of new jobs this year and looking to hire. I love the sign out in the front that says hiring. Got a job fair coming up. We want people to know. And if you don't remember this website, go to jobcenterwisconsin.com, the state's website, where there's more than 33,000 jobs posted today that are open in the state of Wisconsin. We want to help companies like yours grow here in the state of Wisconsin. We realize it's a tough economy and we've got unemployment challenges, but we also got a lot of jobs from a lot of great employers who are looking to grow in the state of Wisconsin, and one of our finest is right here at Ariens and Brilliant. So it is an exciting day to be here as a part of this. The other reason exciting, and the state lawmakers here particularly know because they helped us in this quest earlier this year. Dan, kind of what you alluded to. We realized when we came in January that we were facing both an economic and a fiscal crisis. Now, we got our fiscal house in order. We took about a $3.6 billion deficit and turned it into about a $300 million surplus. That's important because that sends a message not just to the bean counters, that sends a message to investors and job creators that this state is a stable state. This is a state that has its act together. We didn't talk a lot about bond rating agencies until a couple weeks back when the federal government ran into a downgrade, that suddenly that mattered, right? Suddenly your bond rating mattered. In our case, our bond rating was maintained, and one of those national agencies actually called Wisconsin's budget credit positive because we made long-term strategic investments that say this is the place to invest in and do business in. The other thing we did starting out early, because we knew we faced an economic crisis, was to address the issues, Dan, you talked about. You've got a quote, I've got a quote as well. It's real simple. I said it all last year. People create jobs, not the government. People create jobs, not the government. That is an incredibly important message for all of us at any level of government to understand. Because in the end, the best thing we can do in many cases is to get government out of the way. So we lowered the tax burden on job creators. We eased the regulatory burden, still keeping safe air and land and water, but doing it in a way that actually works with our employers, not standing in the way of them. We put in place lawsuit reform and cut back the red tape. As we mentioned, we created a new economic development corporation. In the first 6 months of this year, we saw a rapid turnaround in terms of the mindset of the employers of the state. In fact, the first 6 months alone through June 30th, this state saw in the private sector nearly 40,000 new private sector jobs. That was twice the rate of job growth of the national level. Now that's some powerful news. That's good news for the future. But we had challenges just like others have across the country in July and August because of all the talk about the debt and the debt ceiling, all the other issues. We realize in Wisconsin we can't rely just on what's happening nationally. We've got to break through that. We've got to lead the way. We've been a leader in the past on welfare reform and education reform. And with your help and investment and encouragement, we're going to do just that here in the state of Wisconsin. The reason I know we're going to do it is not just because of the changes we made to make it easier for employers, but because I know if we give our employers like Ariens a fighting chance to create more jobs, we've got the capacity to do it. We have a state that is overwhelmingly built, like this company, on family-owned businesses, on multi-generational businesses. And for the handful that aren't, we've got employers in the state that treat their employees like family. And they're vested here, and they've got roots here. What I hear more often than not, though, are employers who are looking for government to get it out of the way and be a partner to allow them in the private sector to put more people to work. We've got a state filled with incredible resources. Think about it. No other state in the union is surrounded by 2 Great Lakes and the greatest river in the U.S. We're filled with 15,000 inland lakes. That's 5,000 more than Minnesota's, and all of ours have fish in them. We are a great state. We're a phenomenal state. But most importantly, and why it's really an honor to be here today, Dan, not only with you, but with your team, is to say that one of our greatest strengths, one of our greatest assets without a doubt, is the quality of our workforce in the state of Wisconsin. I hear time and time and time again from employers who have businesses elsewhere across the country, in many cases around the globe, who say the competitive advantage, even in the past when we had those other challenges that we're trying to peel away in state government. Even with those challenges, they said what made us competitive was the quality of our workforce. Not only the skill and the dedication, but the hard work, that Midwestern work ethic, the kind of folks that you have here at this company who show up on Monday morning and work all the way through the end of the day on Friday, who work hard, who are committed, who are dedicated because of that family atmosphere. We don't have that around the rest of the country in some places, and we certainly don't have that in all places around the globe. That gives us the competitive advantage. And so part of my being here today is not only to cut the ribbon in a few moments, but to say thank you to your commitment to making an investment not just in infrastructure and capital, but into a quality workforce. That's important for us because in the future, one of the other great statistics, and I know, Dan, we talked about this, was after the changes we made earlier this year, the statewide Chamber of Commerce does an annual survey of job creators. A year ago, they asked how many job creators thought Wisconsin was heading in the right direction. You know how many thought that? 10%. 10% thought Wisconsin was heading in the right direction. This year, after several months of putting our reforms into place, of showing that we wanted to be a partner and in many ways get the government out of the way of job creators, the same survey was done of businesses across Wisconsin, and 88% said Wisconsin was headed in the right direction. 88% said Wisconsin was heading in the right direction. A solid majority of those same employers surveyed said in the next 12 months they're going to add more jobs, just like you're doing right here. But the charge for us, and why, again, being here is so important, because the investment you're making in the research and technology, into expanding the horizons of your employees and working with bringing others into this employment, is the one challenge, the one red flag in that survey, out of all the good news, was they said the biggest challenges for employers in our state today was finding enough skilled workers to fill the jobs they have available. We need to make sure that's the next great step, and so making an investment that's not just about a building, but it's about a commitment to new innovation, to new research, to new development, to hiring new talent, to bring it into this company, into the city, and into this region is so incredibly important. You have a partner now in state government who understands that, who's committed to working with you, and will again in the future. Thank you so much for having me here, Dan.
Thank you very much, Governor. Perfect. We appreciate that. I'd like to bring up a couple of our local officials, and first introduce Lori Gause from the City of Brillion, and she's probably the greatest benefactor of this new 26,000 square feet, Lori. As the Governor mentioned, September 28th, we're looking for 100 new people here in Brillion. Since the Governor's been our governor, we've added 200 jobs prior to that, so this will be 300 jobs in this past year, and looking forward. But you can see this is an engineering center, this is an R&D center. We're going to continue to build right here in Brillion. Lori, give us a few words.
You know, when I'm asked what community I'm from, when I go to different league conferences or throughout the state of Wisconsin, different conferences with different municipalities, and I tell them proudly that I'm from the city of Brillion, and they think, Brillion, Aaron's snow throw, right? And I say, yes, Aaron's is from Brillion, and they are one of our very successful stories. One of our homegrown businesses, we have a few here in town that we can be proud of. But over the last 78 years, the Aaron's Company has grown. They've taken the leading edge in innovation and technology, which is why we are here today. And if you have a chance, if you haven't gone to the Aaron's Museum, you'll see all that history on those walls, and it's really quite the museum that they have. But today we celebrate this new office space and research technology center, as well as the geothermal heating and cooling system that lays out in that parking lot. And every day as I came into work, it was neat to see how that all transpired, and I hope that this is a great investment for you, and payback comes back very quickly. But we are happy to be here today, and I'm happy to represent Mayor Dieter and the Common Council, and we'd first of all like to thank Mr. Dan Aarons and the Aarons Company family, and I say that because all of you as employees of this are part of this big family. And we want to thank you for your $3.8 million investment to this community, which makes our job as elected officials of the city a lot easier, as you said, brings more people into town. And we'll hopefully see more growth as you add on. And we just want to say thank you so much for your investments to the City of Brillion. And we want to congratulate you and the members of this community and company for all your success. Thank you.
Next, I'd like to bring up State Representative Al Ott. Al?
Thank you, David. Governor, and Frank, and others, thank you for having me here today. I would join in a chorus of congratulations to the employees here, to you guys on this step forward. I too, Lori, watched as we drill holes out here and wondered when they were going to stop. I just have one question, Dan. Are we on solid ground or not? It was a great thing. And so with the congratulations, I want to step away a little bit like Lori did, but maybe I can do this a little bit because my roots go back to Brillion as well. All right? And I want Peter to step up here aside of Dan. This is a celebratory day, but I think, as you employees understand, it takes somebody to have had some ideas early on, a long time ago, 78 years ago. A family got together thinking about what they could do for a business, and they started here in Brilliant. And so I understand your family is down at St. Norbert's today,
Right.
and so they couldn't be here. But I just wanted to take this special moment, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of a kid who grew up in Brilliant. You may or may not know it, a kid who used to work at Aaron's company. I was a tow motor operator. My only memory is that I took a load of solid steel, a box of solid steel little axles.
This is sounding bad.
It is bad. And with that tow motor, I went up on the top level, I pulled it out, and my forks started to go like this.
Oh.
And I can, just listen a minute.
Crash.
Can you hear all that steel hitting the concrete and all of that?
This is bad.
That was bad. And anyway, they didn't fire me, but that's my one memory. But
Probably should have.
yeah. Well, as you noticed, I went on to different work.
Yeah.
But I'm so pleased to be able to do the two things today, to congratulate. And as Lori said, thank you. But I want to take that thank you as deep as we possibly can today for the Ariens Company, for your family, okay, for your family who is committed to a community of people, for generations of people. You know, I worked here. I have an aunt who worked here. I have other friends who worked here. How many have had relation working at Ariens for a long time? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So I just really want to take this to a very deep and intimate thank you on behalf of the Brilliant community to the Ariens family for helping people, generations of people, and a community grow. And you stuck it out. We don't know the negotiations and the challenges you had as a business to get into the world and try and make your way to survive and to grow. As the governor talked about the growth today, we have no clue. Employees may have a little taste of it, but most of them out there that watch have no clue, Dan, Peter, what it takes to fight the world's economy today and sustain a strong, powerful business. Governor, is that right? Not right? So, congratulations. Congratulations to all you employees here, and thank you from the people of my district and from the people who generations have had a way of life in Brilliant because of what the Ariens Company, the Ariens family, and those who related to the family did. I won't leave anybody out, but ladies and gentlemen, thank you to the Ariens Company, the Ariens family.
Thank you very much, Al. We've known each other a long time. That's heartfelt. I appreciate that. No, it's probably because I wasn't here. I hate to say it. Sorry. I'm gonna introduce Frank Lissay. Senator Frank Lissay, please. Thank you very much.
Well, Al, you turned out to be a pretty tough act to follow.
It's easy when you got good players, you know?
Exactly. This company, the people who run it, the people who work here, you are the people that make the difference. And this company shows that we can compete, and it is a competitive world, that we can compete with anybody. And you guys are doing it. And you're shipping your product around the world. You're expanding around the world. You're innovating, you're coming up with new stuff, you're expanding here because of it. This is exactly what we need more of. And I know as well that it's not just the people that work here, and you know, others have alluded to it, but the larger community that you all contribute to, and the economy that happens, and the restaurants you eat in, and the places you have your hair done, and the places you shop, and the things that you do, that makes our economy turn. As our governor pointed out, it really is the private sector, private companies, you guys adding value, taking pieces of metal, taking wires, taking designs, putting them together, and adding value. And that adding value is really what makes the economy turn, which helps each and every one of you, and then helps the larger economy around you as you take your earnings and spend it here or elsewhere. And those things make a difference, and the government really has to get out of the way. And we're working on getting the government out of the way, and we can do better at it yet. The other thing is, a few months ago I came here and visited the plant, and you were kind enough to take a little of your time, and also kind enough to take me through a tour of the plant, and some of the workers here were very nice and chatted with me and talked a bit about the lean initiatives you're doing here and how you're constantly improving and looking for things to do to make it better, and your commitment that when you make it better, your job isn't eliminated. We'll find some new stuff that you can do that adds some more value to what we're producing here. That is fantastic. The other part of it that I learned in my visit here was that this company takes U.S. military personnel. They come and spend some time, I think a week at a time, and learn more about this lean initiative that they have going on here, how you can do more with less or do more with the same people that you have and the same structure you have. And looking to put that into our U.S. military to make them more efficient and effective. We need to do that in our state government to make it more efficient and effective. We can even do that at the local government. And sometimes change comes hard, as we've seen. But when you get used to it, I think as you've gotten used to it here, it's not so bad. It's actually kind of nice. So I'm very grateful to be invited to speak to all of you here, to know that you folks who work here really are turning this community. You're part of this community, but your economy, all of this we have because you're producing something of value, adding value to it, doing it every day, getting better at it, and competing around the world. And we can do that, and we should do that. We should continue doing that. So congratulations, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Senator. We appreciate your being here with us as well. Next, I'd like to introduce Congressman Tom Petri, representing our district, the 8th District here. And the Congressman changed his schedule to be here with us today, and I appreciate that very much, Congressman. Thank you.
Dan, thank you. Governor, thank you for coming to Brillion to join in this wonderful celebration. Thank you not only for what you do for this community, which Brillion is brilliant in large part because of the contribution of the whole Ariens family, and that includes the workers and everyone who's involved in Ariens, but you've also been strategically involved in a number of key aspects in Wisconsin. I know working with the Theta Center for Value and as a national leader to try to help maintain quality and lower costs and in the healthcare area, it's a very important thing that we look to your leadership for. And partnering with the school system here in Brillion in reinventing what we used to call SHOP to make it relevant for the future is setting a national leadership example. And people come not only from all around our state, but I had the opportunity in Washington to show a video that was done of the job that they're doing over at the Brillion High School to a symposium on apprenticeship and the jobs of the future put on by the Swiss. And were very impressed. So you guys reminds me of the Marines. When the going gets tough and it's a tough economy, the tough get going, and you're not using it as an excuse, you're using it as an opportunity and continuing to grow and improve the quality of your products. You're internationally competitive. And you are not alone in Wisconsin. We have now become, as a result of the most recent census, I didn't believe this. The governor talks about the 15,000 lakes with fish in them, and we think of ourselves as America's dairyland and agriculture and sportsmanship and recreation. We are the #1 manufacturing state in the United States. Higher percentage of people work in manufacturing than in any other state in the country, in the state of Wisconsin. And by far the #1 congressional district of the 8 in Wisconsin is where we live, the 6th congressional district. Over nearly 100,000 people in our district have jobs in manufacturing. The next district in Wisconsin is about 70,000. So there are a lot of people who get up every morning on farms and in small towns and go to work to produce a quality product for the whole world. And Brillion's an example of that. Congratulations.
Thank you. So, Governor, if you would actually join me up here, I'd appreciate it. We have a small gift. Before we cut ribbon, we had some special gears made that we made them right in our tool and die shop. We have a very extensive tool and die shop. These are solid brass gears. We took a 10-foot bar stock and cut this gear out for you. On the back of it, it's the Ariens Plant 1 office dedication, September 16th. We numbered approximately, I don't know the exact number, I think it's 82 that we numbered, but if you'll notice, you have number 30, and the reason for that is Wisconsin was the 30th state in the Union, and we thought that was symbolic of your visit today.
Well, plus I like the idea that this is one more step towards getting the gears of government working with help from the private sector.